Welcome to today's nursing research lecture. So we are seeing data collection methods. In previous lecture, we have seen how to collect data by using interview method. The next method we are going to watch today is about questionnaire method. So let's go into the topic. Questionnaires, most popularly used tool for collecting data in all kind of researches. So when you speak about research, most commonly used material as a tool for collecting data will be the questionnaires. These questionnaires are very cost effective and it is easy to construct, and also in analysis it is very helpful for the researcher. This questionnaire contains a set of questions that may or may not provide with the response alternatives. Sometimes some research questionnaire will be having all the questions in open-ended questions type. Sometimes it will be based on multiple choice type. So a questionnaire may have response alternatives or may not have the response alternatives. So basically the information is collected from the target population with a tool known as questionnaire. The next very important two definitions about the questionnaire. The first definition says a questionnaire is a structured instrument. So we used to develop the questionnaire. Sometimes questionnaires are ready-made. It is a standardized questionnaires are available. So questionnaire is a structured instrument consisting of series of questions prepared by a researcher that a research subject is asked to complete. So we give the questionnaire to the sample. The samples are the research subject and we ask them to complete those questions in the questionnaire. So this is done to gather data from the individuals about knowledge, attitude, beliefs and feelings. So the subject's knowledge, to assess the subject attitude, to know the subject's beliefs, to know the subject feelings. By using questionnaire, we gather the information from them. The instrument is called questionnaire or sometimes it is self-administered questionnaire, SAQ. So that means to the educated people, we give the questionnaire and we ask them to read and answer by themselves. That is self-administered questionnaire. But with with the non-educated peoples or with the illiterates, we ask the question through interview method and they give the answer that we used to mark it. So that will not be a self-administered questionnaire. The self-administered question which the subject, he or she himself or herself fills the answer by reading the questions. So when respondents completes the instrument themselves, usually in a paper and pencil format. Nowadays, digital questionnaire also available, but traditional format is by using paper and pencil. But occasionally, very recently, Google, the questionnaires can be developed through Google Forms. So by use of computer also, we can make a questionnaire. So this is about the definition of questionnaires. Now let's see the types of questionnaires available. So what kind of questions we will put in the questionnaire? There are two types of questions commonly we use. One is open format questions, another one is closed format questions. The closed format questions basically we are using in the quantitative research. This open format questions commonly we use in the qualitative research. So the closed format questions are different types. Otherwise, it is the, let's see the subtypes of closed format questions: dichotomous questions, multiple choice questions, cafeteria questions, rank order questions, contingency questions. Next we have rating questions, importance questions, Likert questions, bipolar questions, matrix questions. So these are all the subtypes of closed format questions. Open format question does not have any subtypes. Let's see the open-ended question, otherwise open format question. So here the opportunity is given to the respondents to express their opinion and answers in their own way, by their own words, by their own style. There is no limit for the respondents, like you want to answer within a sentence or you need to answer within 100 words. Like that, there is no restrictions. So for a question, very broad answer will be given by the respondents, depend upon the content. So the characteristics, basically no predetermined set of responses. That is, we cannot say this respondent will give only this answer. So any kind of answers they can give. So that is the first characteristics. Second one is provides true, insightful, and unexpected suggestions. So, what informations when the respondents give may be true because they are given chance to speak openly, and through that we get more knowledge. That is insightful. The information which given by the respondents may be a insightful. We get more new ideas. Unexpected suggestions, some unexpected opinions the respondents may give. So, what will be in our mind? That will be expected suggestions, but the respondents may give unexpected suggestions, which will be in different point of view. The third characteristic is an ideal questionnaire will have an open-ended questions at the end of all the questions. Basically, when we develop a closed-ended questions, at last we need to have one open-ended questions. For example, if any for example, when we take a interview, at the last we keep one question. If you have any suggestions, please explain how to improve. So like that, we need to keep one open-ended questions. So next we will see the close format question. So these questions give number of alternatives replies from which the subjects must choose the one that most likely matches the appropriate answer. We ask question, and for that question we will give various alternatives like multiple choice questions which we use in our exam pattern. So the respondents has to choose the appropriate answer from the response and they have to mark it. So the characteristics, first one is, so the closed format questions helps the researcher to do analysis very easier. So calculation of data is very easy with the close-ended questions. The second one is for preliminary analysis, it is very helpful. Just by seeing the questionnaire, we can understand before doing a data analysis. Just by seeing, we can understand. Okay, this kind of answers they have given. This answer is uh, responded by many respondents correctly. Like that, we can able to come to a conclusion and can be asked to different groups at different intervals. So, for example, we can ask the same questions before, for example, about hand washing, hygiene. So, before Corona, the same questions can be asked, and after Corona. So, different instances with a different group of people, like students, like workers, uh, old age people. So, with different group of people, we can ask the opinions by using closed format question. And the fourth characteristic is easy tracking of opinion. So to know the opinion about some people or some product, so the feedback about your service, we use closed format question. So these are the basic characteristics. Let's see the subtypes of closed format questions one by one. Dichotomous question. Di means two. So there will be a choice for the respondents to select between. There will be two choice. Either you want to choose option A or option B. Most of the questions like yes or no type, or particularly when we speak about the gender, male or female, or sometimes we keep only two types of question. Are you coming from urban area or rural area? So such questions, which when a question have only two possible answer, so yes or no or male or female, that kind of questions will be dichotomous question. Have you ever given blood? Have you ever donated blood? Option A, yes. Option B, no. So that is the example of dichotomous question. The next one is we have multiple choice question. So you all know the respondents have chance to select any one response from the four alternatives. So this is most commonly used in all kind of research in the nursing. So this is multiple choice format. There will be four alternatives. Respondents will select one answer which is appropriate to the his knowledge or his beliefs values. So next type is cafeteria question is also similar to MCQ, but the response from the respondents will be more closely correspondence to their view. So here this is not speaking about the knowledge. So what do you think? What you think? So that thinking can be a normal, which will be a scientific thinking, or it can be a illogical thinking. So here, any kind of answer, we cannot say this respondent have selected option A, so that is right. Other three options are wrong. Like that, we cannot say. According to the respondent, the one will be the very close according to his belief, according to his knowledge. For example, we ask a question, what do you think about hormone replacement therapy? If they can think about anything about hormone replacement therapy, we cannot say option C only right, option B only right. We cannot say it like that. Any answer which the respondents choose from the responses may be right according to them. So we just want to know about their views. How, what you, for example, corona virus can again infect a client who got treatment. So, for example, it is dangerous, it should be avoided. So, any kind of response we can give, they can choose any one from this. So, this is cafeteria question. This is different from MCQ, but the format is MCQ format. The next one is rank order question. So we arrange the response. We ask the respondents to arrange, choose the alternatives from the highest to lowest or lowest to highest area. For example, what according to you is the most favorable to least favorable? So option A money, B education, C family, D health. For example, for me, which is the most favorable? Money, education, family, health. So for me, education is most favorable. Second, health. Third, money. Fourth, family. So like that, the respondents has to put the number 1, 2, 3, 4 according to their criteria which they believe. So another, for another person, it can be money can be the one, family can be the two, education can be three, health can be the four. So we cannot say which one. It will be differ from one respondent to another because views are not similar among different people among the peoples. So this is rank order question. The next one is contingency question. Contingency question. You might have seen if you are answering some questions, from that question, another question will be generated. One question will have two different, for example, we ask a question, what you eat today? They are telling, I eat rice, I eat chapati, I eat noodles. Then we, for that question, they give one answer. From that answer, we are again make one question. Why you didn't eat noodles? Uh, for example, are you stressed? We can say yes or no. If I am saying yes, I am stressed, then what is the cause for the stress? So like that, from that question, we generate another question depend upon the answer given by the respondent. So this is the example. This is the best example for contingency question. Next, we are going to see the importance question. So here the respondents are asked to rate the importance of particular issue in the thing. For example, we ask about how the like doing about exercise. It is what you think about doing exercise every day. So, for example, they can give the importance what they think. So some person can choose it is extremely important for the health. Others can choose it is very important to the health. Some says it is not at all important. So if the person says not at all important, we can say they have negative attitude towards health. If the person says extremely important, they come to a conclusion he is having a positive attitude. So to know what kind of preference they give, what kind of things they give importance to the life, then we go for importance question. Next one is we have another type that is Likert questions. To know a person's opinion, what a person believe, whether they strongly agree or strongly disagree a particular concept, then we go for Likert questions basically five. It's 5 point scale. So here what you are seeing that is having 5 points. Sometimes we go for 3 point Likert scale, or we can go for 7 point Likert scale. Most commonly, we go for 5 point Likert scale. So, one extreme we will have a positive question like strongly agree. Another side we have negative, and in between we have neutral. And beyond that, sorry, in both side of the neutral, we have somewhat positive, somewhat negative, like where we can choose. Like we ask the question, is the community a good place to raise the children? Option A, strongly agree. Sorry, not option A. Strongly agree, agree, uncertain, disagree, strongly disagree. If they choose number three, they say uncertain. They don't know about the community is good or it is poor. If they say number two, they agree. So that is in the positive aspect. So like that, we can come to a conclusion about the respondent's view or opinion or attitude. Mostly to measure the attitude of some people, we go for this type of questionnaire. The next one is we have another type of questionnaire, matrix questionnaire. Yes, now we will see the matrix questionnaire. So in matrix questionnaire, it is also like multiple choice question format, but here the responses are in categories. It is placed along the top, and the list of questions are placed in the side. It is placed on the top. Which one is placed on the top? The response are placed on the top, like very poor. We have seen in the Likert scale. Strongly agree, strongly disagree, uncertain, agree, disagree, like that. Here, the response, what they are going to answer will be placed on the top, like very poor, poor, good, very good. Don't don't use this like okay. For example, the questions are given in the sideways side of the questionnaire, like telephone. So the telephone, how I want to rate about the telephone. So telephone booking for food. So that is poor, very good. So like that, I can give any one opinion about that. Email booking, booking through email. So that will be option I can give good or very good. So like that, the questions will be in the left side. So this is about matrix question. Now let's see the guidelines to set the questionnaire. There are some guidelines that you need to follow when you set a questionnaire. First, according to the study objects, develop the questionnaire. And now let's see guidelines to set the questionnaire. So there are some guidelines which we need to follow when we set the questionnaire. The first important thing, we must set the questionnaire according to the study objectives. According to the study objectives, we need to set the questionnaire. Second one is every questionnaire should have instructions for the respondents, like use pen, use pencil, attempt all the questions. Like that, we need to have instruction at the top of the questionnaire. Next one is drafting the questionnaire should be concise. The questions should not be too lengthy because it will be bore for the respondents to read and give the answer. Similarly, it should be very precise. It should be brief. Language of the questionnaire should be according to the knowledge and educational level of the respondents. It should not be highly technical words we should not use. That is, professional jargons we should avoid. The questions must be clear, simple, and we should avoid the professional jargons. And the outside experience, the some for example, for nurses, we cannot make the questions related to the laws. For lawyers, we cannot make the questions related to the nursing practice. So the outside experience questions should be avoided. Next, what are the other guidelines? As far as possible, try to keep open-ended questions that we should avoid. As far as possible, we need to avoid the open-ended questions and avoid questions with difficult concepts which the subjects cannot able to understand and respond. Controversial and ambiguous question. Ambiguous question means the question, the answer cannot be given easily by the respondent. They don't know which one to choose. So such questions we should avoid. Controversial questions related to any political affairs, related to any uh, cultural values, beliefs. Such controversial questions should not be made in the questionnaire. And cross-check the response from the respondents by asking the same information in two different ways. So we must always cross-check what they tell by asking the same question in different ways and then enter the answer in the questionnaire what respondent is giving. And always when you mail the questionnaire through to the respondents through email, always brief introduction about your study and the need for the respondents to answer your questionnaire should be written. And abrupt ending of the questions and questionnaire should be avoided. For example, you are watching a movie. If the movie ends very fast without the climax, so that movie will not be very interesting. So like that, the questions must be completed in a logical way. So there must be a good end. So these are the things you want to see when you set a questionnaire. Next, what you want to know about the sequence of questions. So when you arrange the questions, you should arrange the questions in a logical sequence. So researcher always make sure that answer in the question is not derived from the previous questions. Flow of questions with the trend from general to specific. The questions must be arranged in the order that simple questions, general information should be asked first. Then we should move for the specific information. The next thing is we need to follow the that is the least sensitive to more sensitive questions we need to put in the questions in the order. Don't put the sensitive question at first. And when you set the sequence of the question, follow the sandwich theory. Sandwich theory states that questionnaire should generally start with the demographic profile. So every questionnaire should have part A as demographic profile of the subjects, like age of the subject, gender, place of living, dietary pattern, knowledge, the education pattern, occupation. So this thing has to be in the first in the questionnaire. Followed by that, you must have objectives about the questionnaire. Then you need to set the question. So this is a sandwich theory. Next is constructions of questions. So when you construct a questions, I told already, use the same statements like which is very easy for the subjects to interpret. And the next thing is when you make the statements, give different the responses must be different. Don't give the same kind of responses to the options in the questions. Don't ask double-barreled question which may contains two distinct ideas or concept. For example, are you satisfied with pay and fringe benefits? So in this question, the pay and benefits both are in the same statement. So both are opposite thing that you should not keep in the same statements. When you speak about satisfied, pay and benefits are different. Don't keep it in the same question. Always use positive statements and avoid leading, loaded, ambiguous, and long questions. So don't make the questions very lengthy. and don't keep ambiguous questions. And assumptions should not be made about the respondents. So while making the questionnaire, don't think these respondents will give this answer only. So like that, don't make any assumptions. The last one is comprehensible and clear wording should be used. So without any grammatical error, don't keep any punctual mistakes. So that is very very important. Without spelling errors, the questions has to be developed. So next we are seeing what are the methods of administering the questionnaire. So we can use the traditional method like paper and pencil. So face to face interaction and collect the information with the questionnaire. And through mobile phones, today we are having the good information technology with the mobile phones through app, through email, we can collect informations through questionnaire. The questionnaire can be sent to the respondents through post. That is very old method. It takes long time. Now let's see the advantages and disadvantages of questionnaire. So a lot of advantages and disadvantages are there. First one is it is very easy to analyze the advantages we are seeing, and it is very familiar to like for example any staffs and any kind of researchers can easily make the questionnaire, and we can use for large samples with the to collect data we can use the questionnaire. For that it needs very less cost only and easy to administer, and this format is very familiar to most of the respondents, and they should be simple and quick for the respondents to complete when you have very less number of questions. Informations collected always will be in the standardized format, will be in the standardized way, and they are usually straightforward to analyze. Directly we can go for analysis when we use questionnaires. We don't want to do much coding and decoding process, and they can be used for sensitive topics which the users may feel uncomfortable to speak to the interviewer about the respondents, because some are very controversial issues, and they are not usually required to reply immediately. So questionnaires when I received from some researcher, I took my time to give the answers. Once I completed, I can send to them. So these are the advantages of questionnaires. The next is disadvantages of the questionnaires. If you forget to ask a question, you cannot usually go back to the respondents, especially if they are anonymous. So when the respondents does not answer to a question, again you cannot go and meet them and get the answer because they are strangers. It is sometimes difficult to obtain a sufficient number of response, especially from postal questionnaire. So no, the response rate is very low when you send the questionnaire through post. And another thing, the interest of the subject influence the way they respond. If they have respond to, if they have good interest to your questionnaire, they will answer. Otherwise, they will throw it. They don't answer it. Respondents may ignore some questions. Another thing is sometimes it is impersonal because we are not going directly and collect information. So they can give the questionnaire to someone and they get the questionnaire filled. So it will not be truthful and credible. They are not suitable to investigate long complex issues because the questionnaire should be very brief and it should not be very lengthy. Respondents may misunderstand the questions because of poor design and ambiguous language. So that commonly occur when you use technical language, when you have um, grammatical error. So respondents may misunderstand. Another disadvantage is questionnaires are not suitable for some kind of respondents like visually impaired students. So when they don't have good vision problem, they don't answer. When you make the question with very low font size. Sometimes there is the danger of the questioner to get fatigue if the surveys are carried too frequently. For example, many researchers are doing research on the same respondents, they get fatigue and they don't respond. So these are the disadvantages of the questionnaire. So this is about the questionnaire method. So we have come to conclusion of today's lecture. In tomorrow's lecture, we will see the next method of collecting data, checklist. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.